hope you guys can hear me. All right, let's just get this up here. What do I want to use this in? Geez, paint. Yeah. It's smaller. There we go. Oop. There we go. Let's actually go off. Hello, Knitaholic. How are you? Sorry about that. I had a phone call. Here, give me a second. I gotta close my door. I'm streaming. How are you today? So you see, I'm gonna start a new project today. Are you still there? So, did you have your coffee this morning, or do you drink tea? Which I may be moving to drinking green tea soon. I've been doing some research. Okay, pencil. This one not so much. And if I can get this one to work, that would be wonderful. So I'm back to practicing stuff. Finally made a scene for my drawing stuff. Hey, I saw your name show up. What was that for? Did it show on here? You're hosting me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That was weird. Let me see. It has to be. I saw it come up, but I'm gonna have to figure out what that was. Let me test a few things here. I haven't been able to test what I have here. Let me check if the alerts are working. Give me a moment here. I'm gonna double check this. My alert box. Oh, it's not up front. See? Good thing, good thing. Let me bring this on top. Okay. Donation. Okay. Hosting. Cool. Okay, now it's on top. Let's see what else. Let's bring this back. Yay, it's working. Oh, nice. Yeah, I slipped in today and just being lazy the last couple days. I had my granddaughter yesterday, of course, and I've just been really lazy. I'm normally not lazy, but man, I really needed to, for some reason, relax for a while. It feels good every once in a while. I don't do it that often at all. I don't usually take naps either. And instead of taking a nap, I just slept in a little bit just so I can, let me move this over here. I won't have to move that as much. Okay, so actually, let me put it up here. Let's add an image. I'm gonna add an image here that I am working with, just so people see what I'm working on. I am going to call it let me find it real quick. These are little practices that I want people to do on Thursdays. So this would be, actually, it would work great right here. Maybe put on top a label. Bring this down a tiny bit. Let's add text. Where's that? Oh, I feel like I've forgotten how to do this. Okay, what do you call it when you're working on a project now? My brain is gone. Shoot, what do I call it? Now, maybe? Not recent project, but oh, that's the word. That's it. Thank you. Oh, come on. Thank you so much. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. My brain is just not working, I guess. Let's see. Color. I think black will work just fine. So let's make it black for now. Okay, just so people can see it. Oh, black won't work. Not where I'm going to put it. So, let me change that. Is that noticeable? I don't know what color to put on it. Yeah, I'm not going to put past projects right now. I don't have a whole lot yet. I want to work up to that. I don't believe I have a whole lot. I don't know how to add the past projects in like people do, but I figure people would just go to my Instagram and look that up instead of putting so much stuff on the stream itself. And why does this only have 3? Is it not big enough or something? I see other people have 4 items on here, and I only see... Oh. Does that whole thing show? There we go. Can you actually see that? The screen that I'm looking at is the dashboard area, so it doesn't look so big. Maybe I can still open it. Let me try. See what it looks like. You know how it looks so much bigger. Open my channel. Okay, that doesn't look so bad. It looks okay, I guess. Alright, I haven't started to draw anything, but since you're here already, I was wondering if, oh, wait a minute. Actually, I'll work on this project, and if you have an idea what to come up with, remember last week, I believe it was last week, you were here with me, and I was doing some drawings. Maybe we could come up with some ideas of what to draw. It gives me more practice when somebody else picks it out. So what I'm going to work on here is a cylinder. And then we're going to have a box. I probably made that too big, so let me make it a little bit smaller. And then we're going to have a box in front of it. And that's kind of going to gear off here. And I want to be able to see part of the top of it. Oop, that has come straight down. I'm not sure if you can actually see this. I'm sort of shaky right now. It's weird. Alright, and then the background is going to have something like that. And this here, this way. Then we're going to have circular kind of coming off the page apparently. Yes, you did. Yes, and I haven't done anything since. Oh, that's too big. You need to stop. My animal. Hold on. I have to check my other animal one now. Did you take my animal with you? Oh. Where are you going? Alright. I had to go get my dog. He went out of the room. I have to watch him because sometimes he poops in the house. He's still learning not to do that. Okay, so let's clear some of these lines up. You probably can't see them yet. Oh, let me put it a little bit closer. Let me put the camera a little bit closer, see if that helps. It's down. Oh, just a little bit. It might be end up in my face just a tad. Maybe not. There. Maybe you can see it from there. Will you come up with something to draw, and after this one I will work on that one since you're the first one here, if you don't mind. Just keep it simple for now. Something that involves a circular, which would be circle, a square, a cylinder, or a cone, or all three of those together. If you recall, I did these just to bring back what I worked on. Something that entails with this, or this guy. Let's see, let's switch that a little bit. And then we have a circular here. And then remember the cone that we did? Something that has that in it, which would be great. Not so much a building. After a while, I'm going to end up giving these away to people. Just, you know, examples for what we're doing. It helps people to learn. Okay, so right now, I'm going to do something. I actually did this too big. I'm wondering if I should change it. Hey, what are you doing? Go get it. Let me change this. Let me get it to match more or less what I have up there. I just have to do it smaller. What is nice about this is that I don't press on the paper too hard, so I'm able to erase everything and not leave any marks, which is great. I don't know if I can get this lead to work. I was hoping so I could do small detail, but I'm hoping it's not bent. If it's bent, it's no good to me. This thing bends. I know I have lead. Hold on a sec. Yeah, I have lead in there. I just can't seem to get that one to come out. It's there. A little bit. It's really super fine lead and I can't get it to come out. I think it's stuck. So I don't know how to pull that out. It's so fragile. If I try to grab it, it's gonna break. Let's see if I can put this back in without breaking it. And this is super thin lead. No, I dropped it. It's super thin. See that? Oh my gosh. The flower pot. Let me write that down. That is one of the projects from the book that I'm teaching people too. But that's okay. I'll do that one. Gradually just add things. Come on. These things are supposed to work so simple. I was looking up some things on Amazon for mechanical pencils, and some of them on this piece right here, it goes inside so it doesn't get damaged. Oops, can't see it. This piece right here. If this piece gets bent, the lead won't come down, so that's what I'm afraid of, what's going on right now. Okay, so let's, oops, I moved that, didn't I? There we go. Alright, I'm not going to mess with this one right now. I was going to try to work on it. I should have did it the other day. It just came to mind that I'm fixing it. Weird. Alright. So when my granddaughter came over, she decided, and I totally forgot, to put my pencils away. So she decided to grab one of my pencils and start writing with it, and almost smashed my softest lead because it's so soft you can barely press down and it'll crumble. Luckily I got it from her fast enough. I didn't startle her or anything, but she got angry and just started crying, so I had to go find a pencil that she can use, and she insisted she wanted my really nice pencils. This is the pencil she was going to use, and it's really, really soft lead, and it will break so easily if you press down on it. And I about freaked. I'm like, oh no. Anyway, okay, so because the square is closer to me, I need to, and then these aren't squares, which is interesting. So I need to work smaller. So let me sketch this smaller. And try not to go so big. Make a box here. Probably a little bit more out. Same thing with this one. Just a tad more out. Release that. Is my music too loud? Probably not loud enough. My son's going to turn his music up here pretty soon, but if you get feedback, let me know, and I will turn it back down. Alright, so from here, and draw the cylinder in as if it's here, right? Like I did last time. Yeah, it's warm. Hold on. I don't know where my fan is. This light radiates a lot of hot air. You know how hot the bulbs get. Alright, now we're going to do a circle. What they call the sphere. Okay, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I made a ruler so I can put the table that it's sitting on. Kind of like so. Now you can't see the outer part right here, but I'm going to add it in. All right, so now I'm going to do up here first, one of the darkest spots. Just going to do this really lightly. And last week I used one of these, so we're going to use that. Okay, so that is really, really light. Let me get it a little bit closer. Let me see if this will auto focus now. If it keeps swimming back and forth, I'm just going to not. Okay, so that needs to be. Yeah, that's not going to autofocus. Not yet, anyway. Okay, so I'm going to use this Q-tip. And because I didn't press so hard, it was really light. Actually, I don't think Q-tip's going to spread it at all. Hold on. I'm going to grab my chamois. There's a smooth side to the chamois, and there's a soft side. We're going to use the rough side. I already have stuff on here, so I'm going to use that. And I'm just going to suppress it on the back part. Smudge it. Alright, these guys are getting crazy over here. Playing. What are you guys doing? Now, even though if I get a little bit over here, the table or whatever the platform it's sitting on, it still has a little bit of shade anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. But I want everyone to be able to see the direction of the light, to identify the shapes, where your light source is coming from, the perspective. And also, when you set something up like this, you want to make sure that it draws the eyes to every direction of your canvas or drawing, your paper, your whatever it is that you're using to draw your picture on. If that makes any sense. Alright, so I'm going to shade that up just a little more. And it doesn't matter that the texture is off, because this is the background, so it's no big deal. But I want to put this a little bit darker just so you guys get the idea of what we're looking at. And that way my camera will focus a little bit. Okay, I'm going to use my H2. In this mechanical pencil, I have H2 lead. So I'm going to go over that again. The 8B, for some reason, I need to get used to this one. I haven't used this pencil yet. It's brand new. So it's supposed to be the darkest shade of lead. There's also a 10B. I don't have a 10B. So I'm going to use my HB. And we're going to do this a little bit darker. Only because the background, if you can see my current project up there to the left, that it is dark. You guys done messing around? Dante? Isis? What are you guys doing? Everybody can hear you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you, girl. Okay, I'm going in circular motion here, just so it's not a straight line or anything. If I do a straight line or go up and down or anything, you'll be able to see those smudges. Well, I want it to be more of a one tone sort of thing. Okay, so you can see that it's bringing in some of the basic shapes here. Alright, so now, hold on, I think I have a, let me fix this real quick. My fingernails grabbed my hair, so I want to make sure that it doesn't do that again. Alright, I'm going to use my HB pencil, and we're going to bring in the shading here. This line here needs to be lightened up, so let's lighten this up, because we don't want to see that. So we just want to lighten that up. then we're going to use, get my other pencils here. Alright, I'm used to using these a certain way, so let me reorganize my stuff here. I'll show you the difference on those. A-B here, 6B, 4B, B, AB, 2B, oh not 2B, and it will be my HB, and F2H. Let me move this over. Hold on a second. I gotta set up my pencils here. They don't move. All these erasers. Oh my goodness. Alright. So I'm using my 2H. And that's going to be one of your lighter pencils. And I'm going to lighten this up over this way. For the light source. And I see already, I've already went past where it's not supposed to go. And it's going to gradually go over that way. So, alright, let's get that in here. And I'm going to use my 2B to darken it a little bit. Then I'm going to go to my 6B. Darken it some more back here. And I'm just using it very lightly, and you can see that the shadows are making it darker. Very light. Keep my circle where it's supposed to be. And I probably don't have to erase that because right here is going to be really, really dark. But I want everyone to be able to see that shape there. And then my 8B, that's this dark one that we're using, is going to get this edge much darker. And very lightly again, I'm barely holding it, barely sitting it on the paper, not pressing hard. And you see that come in there. I'm going to go back to 4B. I'm going to blend this line in. Now you could do this different ways. You can start light and gradually go dark all the way around, or you can go dark on the far side and then make it lighter up there. I had a smudger here. Where did it go? There we go. Hold on. My things here so I can get it on my thing here. Oh, somebody grabbed it. I think one of my grandkids. Check this out. They smashed it in. Look at that. It's flat. They must have did it when I wasn't here. Alright, now these you can actually, sometimes you can, I don't think I can with this one. Smashed it in. Not good. I don't think I can fix that. That's completely ruined. I don't have sandpaper. If I had sandpaper, I'd sand it down in the side. Dang, it's completely ruined. Totally forgot to put it away. Well, let me try it anyways. I'm going to go ahead and try it. I tried peeling some off to where I can see if I can get that point, but it's way dug in there. But I got it smaller anyways. But it is flat. So I'm going to use the side of it to shade this in. So with that lid on there, or I could turn it a little bit to make it lighter and blend this to where it comes out a little bit. See how it's coming along? What are you guys doing? But this is just so you can see the light source, where it's coming from. So on the far side, that's what you're going to see. And then, let's move that back. I don't need that anymore. We're going to do the table. How to do this. Move my keyboard out of the way. I want to move this where everyone can actually see it. Move my pencils here. Introducing Chrysler Pacifica, America's first ever hybrid minivan. You don't see this kind of EPA estimated miles per gallon of gasoline equivalent of PGE. Actual mileage. All right, let's do that. What happened to Knitaholic? What happened there? Did you sing rats? Okay, so the table is a lighter shade than the top. So we're just going to put a light shade on this table. Now I'm doing the table first because once I do the dark part here, it also brings in the light part where I don't have to do anything to. Now I have my lines on here where the dark is going to be. So even if I were to pass it, it's fine because you won't see it. And because I'm going super light, just enough to where you can see this end here, I can use my Q-tip and soften that up. And it won't be as dark as the top side, but it will be a tiny shade. And when I take the tape off, you'll see the border will be pure white. And you'll be able to see it. So sometimes this works a lot better than going the other way around, where you do the shapes first and then do the shading. But this brings in you see how that came in right there? I brought it in a little bit. If I turn this sideways, it takes the glare off and you can see that. Brings it in. My grandkids must have got a hold of my blender and they smashed it. I mean, that thing's flat. You can see there's no point on it. There was a point on it when I last used it. And my grandkids must have been playing with it and I don't know. I just found it and I don't know when that happened. And I have left my granddaughter in here for a few minutes watching a movie while I went and cooked something really quick. And I don't know. It's been a whole week since I've done this, so it happened in between there. And my grandson's been over too, so. Okay. I don't know when that happened. But that's a #1 no-no, not to smash that point in, that you use the sides of it, not the tip. You want to, when you're using it, I have another one, I'll get one out. But that way you can see the tip. I don't know if you've ever seen those. Let me see if I have one close by. There's my leads. I know I had one, but not sure. Oh, no, I don't need that one. Hey, you guys settle down. Oh, it's not in here. I do have more here somewhere. Let me check my bottom drawer here. Because this isn't going to work. And I had another one and I can't find it. It was up here also. So I don't know what they did with it. What they done with it. I'll take out a few things here. What have they done? No. I'm gonna get my other glasses on. I can't see. What are you guys doing? You guys are messing around. What are you doing? Where are you? Where are you hiding from me? Little man. Markers. Circles. Interesting. Erasers. Where did they go? Yeah. Oh, I think I have to go buy more. Can't find them anywhere. Wow, what? They're somewhere else. Oh, so now you guys are behaving. Now that I'm watching you. You crazy animals. Oh. Can't find them. They're not here. Give me a moment. I'll be right back. I do really need them. Hold on a sec. I am back. I found it. I have this one. This is a brand new one I just bought not too long ago. This one you can sand down with sandpaper on the corners and make it pointy. But I'll have to find my sandpaper for that. And then this is the tool that I was talking about. Let me zoom this out so you guys can see this better. So this is a blending tortillas. That's the one that my grandkids smashed. Oh, my music stopped. Oh, what happened? Says. Okay, so. Why is that playing? Weird. Are you back with me? Hello? Anybody there? Hello, hello. Anyhow, these are the tortillas I was talking about. They got smashed. These you can't fix like that. I tried ripping that one apart. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Next to my glasses. So, let me get back in here. Since I found them, I'm going to go ahead and try to rip this apart a little bit more and see what happens. A lot of people, they just use paper. And this paper actually feels like, man, this one's old. Look at the darkness on that. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway. Mine doesn't even say what it was made from. This one says Taiwan. Oh, let me see. See if I can take this off. My son says, get a piece of paper and just put it around your finger and smudge. I used to do that all the time. That's not what I want to go back to. If I don't have to. And then just not regular paper. It has to be. Alright, let's find this back up. Oh, made a little bit pointy, not much. I'll get another one of these out though to use it. Alright, so let's open this puppy. Take one out. I have to put those away so the grandkids don't get a hold of them again. Crazy, huh? Put that one away. We're not using that one. Alright, so let me go back down on this. Back to business. Yay! Wow. My son, I tell you. Alrighty, let's do this. Alright, let's blend this in. And I can actually use the same one to do it. Ta-da. Bring this down. There's a line right here I need to erase. Do I still have you here, Netaholic? Are you gone? You did. Yeah, I lost my stream also for a second. I didn't do anything to it. I waited for it to see if it would pop back up. dark. So I kind of flatten this sort of, and just tapping it to lighten it up just a tad bit there. I found my tortillions, by the way. I have a new set here. I just took one out of here. And then I found this one. This one is the one I told you that we can use the sandpaper to make a point with after we use it. But I don't have sandpaper, so I'm not going to use that one. And I bought that one for when I work on the big projects, like the For Honor that I have. So this is the point I was talking about that was smashed down on this one. So I need to make sure that when my grandkids come over, I put all this stuff, put it away completely. Completely put away. So they don't get a hold of it. And I won't have to stress over that again. No. So I am barely going to do this here. And then lightly go this way. And then I'm going to use this. You don't want to go straight down. You want to use the sides. Bring the shadow over. And it's kind of lighter over this way. So I'm going to shade this in a tiny bit here to where it's a little bit darker. And it's going to be darker anyways. So that way that end looks bring this in. All this is going to be darker. Okay, so we got that part in slightly. And then up here needs to be lighter also because we're just going to get the edges. And to do that, I usually turn it this way slightly. Make sure that you have a fine point and just gradually make a lip right there. This part here needs to be, let's see, I might have, let's see if I can put this a little tad closer. You need a lock box. What's a lock box? What is a lock box? Okay, so I'm going to smooth this line a little bit and smear it over this way. So it's not dark, it's not light, it just has a simple shade to it. There's a line showing on here, so you need to take that out. Oh, this is fun. Lidaholic, what's a lockbox? I don't know what that is. Alright, so this here stays light. We're not going to touch that. Take this line out. I don't know where my other eraser is. Oh, wait, my grandkids did a number on me, huh? That one doesn't go in there. That's what I'm looking for right here. Oh, look, there's my other one. That's the other one I was looking for. Alright, hold on. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Got really hot over here. And turn the AC back on. Okay. Let's get back to this. So if I were to hold this up a little bit, it takes a little bit of the glare off. See that? A small storage box with a lock key. I think they sell them stationery section of most office supply stores. And what's the box for? Oh, you're talking about for these guys, or so? I probably need a walk-in safe for all my drawing stuff. My grandkids, I taught all my kids. I had 3 kids, and I taught all my kids how to draw. Well, every once in a while, when they need something, they come to mom because mom has the supplies. So where do you think the grandkids get it? Oh, Nana has it. Let's go to Nana's house. Yeah, I know how they work, them kids. All right, this guy here is too low, so we're gonna raise it up a bit. I found my other eraser to do that. So we're gonna raise this up just a tiny bit. So by doing that, I just use a tortillon just a tiny bit. This one I already have 8B on here, so I'm going to use the 8B. That's what I end up having on this side. See how dark it is already? That's from previous lead that I already had on here, graphite. And that's going to be dark anyways. Alright, so we're going to lift this other part up a bit. My 2H. And we're going to lift this up just a little bit. There, that should do it. I think that's a little crooked, honestly. Okay, that looks better. That looks better. You see that tiny lip right there? The light shines right on it, huh? Oh my gosh. That boy just gets so loud. I gotta turn my music up more. That boy's loud. Crazy. Lockbox could possibly get one with hanging files for some drawings and put drawing pencils in the bottom. I know, right? For real. I know what you're talking about now. It's a storage box. They call it a storage box with a lock or so. So yeah. It's interesting, right? All right. Let's see. Next side here. Let's get this guy on this end. Now this is going to be 3 different colors. This is going to be stay light. I'm not going to touch this side right here. It's going to stay that way. But this end here, we are going to darken. So I'm using my 2H first. Then I'm going to use my 2B. And very lightly, it's already getting super dark. See that? It does not take much. I am not pressing on this at all. It's just the weight of the pencil. I'm wondering if after surgery if I can actually do this with stitches. 2/8, I'm getting hand surgery, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And I'm not sure how long the recovery time is, which is going to be interesting. Okay, this one's 4B. Now, if I shade without smudging, I'm going to show you what it looks like, what the difference is. So I'm not going to smudge this one. I'm just going to use my pencils for it so you can see the difference of what it does. And the top side's super light, so I'm going to use the pencil itself. So I'm going to use the 2H for the top. And again, it's just the weight of the pencil. I'm not pressing on it. Okay. Now, let's put this one back. So 2H, a 4B. Okay, this is a different pencil. Many of you may have seen it. It's a Prang Sketching 6B. Usually for sketching, you use the HB. To use the other pencils that I use is the Kimberly Graphite Drawing kit. Well, to be honest, I actually just started using this kit recently. Just so you know, I'm going to darken this background more to where you somewhat see it on the sample up there. So this side here is much darker than this side, just so you get the idea. So we want the same thing to happen because the lighting does the same thing. It darkens. So if I were to darken this from right here over, and I'm just lightly with the 6B, I have to keep turning it just so it stays sharp, where it has a sharp point. So I want to stay within the lines here. Be careful not to go over. Let me bring this out more. There we go. So you guys can see it. Yeah, I was reading online. I know it's crazy to read stuff online sometimes because you get overwhelmed with so many different outcomes. But I read online that you can recover from a week to 3 months. It varies. They told me that for my knees that I would recover in no time at all also, and apparently my body still hasn't recovered since 2010, so that's crazy. Alright, I'm making sure that I get a little bit of lead on the side here. I'm not pressing hard on it because I don't want a line, okay? So we're going to make this darker by just adding a little bit more lead. By making another layer, it gets darker. So I'm going to make this part darker. I don't want to see the overlay. You know, sometimes you see the overlay of pencil. You don't want to see that. So you want to kind of blend it in, sort of make the tone the same color. Sometimes it's because the tone, if you don't have the same tone of color on there, is why you can see the overlap. And you don't want to see the overlap. And you don't want it shiny either. Okay, so that was a 6B. See how it made it darker? Well, this shade here should be the same as this shade right here. Now this one here, I use the Tortillion. This side, I'm not going to use that because I want a different type of texture. So I'm going to leave it that way. So from the 6B, I can use, there's a graph on back side of the pencil, the graphite pencil. So I'm going to grab the 2B. Okay, and then I'm going to do just a little bit more this way, and then I want this to stay the same as it is. So I'm going to turn it this way. Let me pop this up a little bit. And I only want to come to maybe about this end here. And I want this to blend in, where it kind of gradually goes into it. Where you can't even see that it transfers. It just gradually just goes into the tone. And I'm hoping I'm explaining this correctly to everyone here. I'm going to go back just a little bit to darken this side in with the same 2B, not the other pencil, because I want it to blend in. Okay, now I'm going to go lighter because let's use the 2H. Right here, it looks like there's a line there. I lift this up, you can see that. There's a line sort of right there. We want that to disappear. So I'm going to use the 2H to kind of blend that in where it matches the other. And the table where it ends down here, I haven't finished that. So I'm going to bring this down to it. And now that it kind of brings a line right there, I want that line to disappear. So I'm going to try to erase that a little bit. My eraser. Oops. Lose a little bit of eraser there. My nails. Okay, sometimes it does not go away. So I'm using my thinner eraser. Because I just want the shadows. I don't want the line in there. Alright. Clear that out. Blend this in. You don't want to see that line transfer. You want it to just blend. So now when I lift it up, you see how the left side is darker than the right. That's a little bit of what's going on over here on that in there. So, and I have that. Okay, so let's bring this back down. Now the shapes are coming around where you can see them. We're going to darken this just a little bit because now it kind of went out of, like it's too light. So we're going to darken this just a little bit with my 2H, just lightly putting a layer over it. Then we're going to blend this in. Because as it goes more over here, it gets lighter. Because it has like a glare from everything, how that works. And that goes super light. Okay. So we're going to leave it like that. Then, this has a slight line right here. Because it has the darkness from. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Just to mix it up there. Okay, now down here is a little bit darker, so we're going to use the 4B because this shadow is actually a little bit lighter than this one. So I'm going to use the 4B. I might have this stop right over here actually. So let's bring this over here. Shade that in a tiny bit. And this should be the same. Comes upward there. Now it's gradually coming in. It's amazing. Okay, I'm going to turn this around because it's easier to work with on this end. This way. And we're going to make that even darker. So I need my 8B. I used the 6B for here. Now I'm going to make this end right here darker. So I'm going to use my 8B. Gradually bring this in. And we're going to make this darker. See how much darker that came in? There we go. So I'm going to bring this all dark also. Okay, what does that look like? Okay, so remember I said that this right here is going to be the same lighting as this one right here. So I'm going to change that also. Now as it comes more this way, it lightens up a little bit, so I'm not going to touch that end. I'm just going to do this end. So I darken that a little bit. And that was my 8B. So I want something a little bit lighter so it doesn't go as dark, so it will blend in. Kind of like that, right? Oops. And with my 2H, I want to define this line right here. So line here, and then it goes this way. Just so you see that there's a bottom part there. Same thing with here. I'm glad to get this line to go away. Whoop! I dropped it. Hold on. Luckily, I have nice rug down here where it won't break the tip. I'm going to lighten this up. So this is the 2H I'm using right now. Now remember, I smudged this earlier. I'm not going to smudge it this time. So if you really, really work on this, it'll come out amazingly nice. Okay, so now on the circular here, you want the bottom part of it to show. So we're going to lightly put a line right down here. I'm not pressing hard. And I'm going to blend it a little bit with the table it's setting on. This is the 2H. I'm going to bring it out. I have my pencil at a slant, as you can see. Make sure I'm still in the view here. I actually have my arm underneath my clipboard here because my hand hurts. So I can't just hold it up like anyone normally would. I need surgery on that hand also. So, see how that's coming in? So with my 2H, just putting in a little bit more shadow here. Not pressing hard, just letting the pencil glide right across. I'm going to bring it this way, really lightly. Oop, I almost went past that one. Let me hand's not gonna hold it. It's shaky. So I'm just making the table just a little bit darker, not very much, just a little bit. Having it blend. Okay. Look at that. Whoa. All right. Now, there's a piece back here that is, how do I make it 4B? Slightly darker. Can't really see it. Right over here. Ta-da. That's from the other. Let's tighten this up. I think we're done. Actually, no, this side needs to be just a little bit darker. The shade is just a little bit off. This one too. There. It's missing here. Ah. Hold on. Not done yet. This is the 2B. Right there, and that one. Back to the 2H. Smooth this out where they blend together. You can't see where it begins. Same thing here. There. Ta-da! Ooh, is that a mosquito? There we go. Ta-da! You still there, Knitaholic? I'm going to start on the other one here. I'm just going to sign this one and date it. So let me get my 8B. Hoping this will work. I'm going to sign it right in here. And then today's date is 5/24/17. You see that? It's really, really light. Ta-da! I signed it. Signed it and dated it. And all of them are signed and dated. So let's take this out. Hope it doesn't peel the paper. Sometimes it does. And that sucks when that happens. This paper is, excuse me, not your ordinary paper that you would draw with. If that makes any sense. I'm using index paper. Oh, that's fine. You can do that. Let me move this a little bit. Let me go out also so you guys can see what I'm doing. Whoop. Wow, it took that corner again. Same corner. There we go. Ta-da. So you know how big the index cards are? That's what this is on an index card. Okay, so next I'm going to work on a planter. Is that what it was? Flower pot. Oh, that's fine. Actually, I think this part right here should be a little bit darker, but that's fine. Actually, I did it backwards, right? Because you know what? Right here, it's supposed to be dark like this one. If I'm looking at the sample here, the current project, if you look at this, yeah, you guys can't see my arrow, but in the center where it has that highlight there, and then it lightens up towards the end like it did the cylinder, that's what should have been there. All right, so I'm going to remove this and close this one. And I am going to open up another one that's similar to the cylinder, the plant holder is what we're talking about earlier. Alright, let me set that there for a minute. Let's see if I have one in here, just so you guys have an idea. I know how to make one. There's one that's from my book that I'm working from. Let's see if I can find it. If I have it in here. I don't think it's in here. Yeah, I don't see it. So what I'll do is I'll just make one up. Let me bring my book out. I'm wondering if it has the shadows in there though. Let me see. You know, for shading. That's what I'm thinking about. Okay, so the planter that they have in the book is this one here. The flower pot thing. And then it shows you on the drawing part how to do it, more or less. I can do that one. I don't have a picture of it, and I can also shade it, so we'll do that. I want to do something that pertains to, I got something in my eye, besides my eyeball. Alright, so we're going to put that in here. Grab another card. Okay, and we're going to set this down like I did the others. Only this one, I think I'm going to put a smaller border to it. I'm going to put a smaller border to this. Sometimes I can reuse this tape, sometimes I can't. It varies every time. Alright. Usually I wear my other gloves with this too when I'm doing it. But I try not to touch the paper at all. Sometimes it's not easy to. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to do a planter. So that would be sort of like a box cylinder, sort of. So I'm going to put a line straight down the middle here. This kind of gives me an idea to put it in the right spot. So I put a really, really light, just so you can get an idea of the placement of the center. Alright, so sort of like a cylinder, kind of like a box. Okay, and let's bring the line this way, kind of make it have some kind of, and then I'm trying to picture this in my head. And then the distance here needs to be the same. Let's bring it out a little bit more. And then we're going to bring this down, bring this down to meet. Let's bring it out a little bit more. Out. Erase these lines. We don't need the lines anymore. Don't need the line. Let's take the line out. Take this line out. Take that one out. Take that one out. Take the center out. Sides out. And then there's your pot. Now we're going to shade it in. So the lip on the outside is kind of round. So we're going to bring this round sort of right here, and it comes in slightly. Now we're going to bring it around this way. And then on the inside it has a lip. This part here we're going to bring down just a little bit more. And make sure these lines are gone, because we're going to have shadows in here. Now because I don't have a light showing a pot here, I am going to have it in my head. I'm not going to use my hand to take all that out. This here needs to be lighter. This part right here is going to be super light. Okay, the inside we're going to make it a little bit dark, not by much. Just a little bit. And then we're going to put a lip right here. Because on a planner, and on the inside it has that little lip that it has to make this part here. That's down too far. Let me check my music. I think it stopped. So I'm going to bring this in here. Hold on for a moment. The music stopped. Let me put something else on. Alright, I have to wait till that's done actually. Wait till that's done. Alright, so this is my HB. I'm going to bring the corner in here. Shade it. And then this side. You want to see that it's a cylinder. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, and then it has a lip right here. So there's obviously there's going to be a shadow right there. So I'm going to bring this shadow down a little bit. Put my 2H in, lighten that up. Lighten this up. You did? Oh man. So you missed part of what I was saying? That's okay. You didn't miss a whole lot. It takes time to do this. Okay, now this is flat right here. It's not supposed to be. It needs to be round. So we're going to bring this down a a little bit more. That part's not going to have a lip. Use the B. Make this side a little bit darker. Bring that in. Do the same thing this side. I have to kind of like put my head to the side because there's a glare. So if I were to hold this up, you can see it much better. But if you have it like this, the light kind of glares on it. So that's why I move my head to the side so I can see it myself. That's why you see my head going from one end to the other. Okay, so that's bringing in the side there. You see that? Just gradually working it in. Let's see. Get this a little bit closer. Like that. So you can see what I'm working on, at least, right? Alright, so we are going to make that a little darker. So I was using the B on that one. So here, I'm just going to use the 6B to make this just a little bit darker right here. Just at the ledge. Really lightly. And then right here, see how that brings it in more? And same thing here, I'm just going to, at the ledge. I don't have a point on this. I mean, I can put one, but I'm still able to work with it a little bit. Ta-da! It's coming in. Looking great. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing to this edge over here. Now, up here, there's a lighting, so I'm not going to go that far with this one. But just on the edge. So you have a little bit there. A little bit of contour there. Okay, with HB, I'm going to just blend in just a little bit more right here. Same thing here. Alright, now I'm going to use my 2H because we want a light lip over here where you can see when the light shines on it, there's a little lip. So I'm going to turn this around this way. And there is a really light. Let's erase this line a little bit. I don't want that line to show. Not right there anyways. There's this brush that I use. So I'm not using my hands because your hands have oils. You don't want to use your hands. All right, so now we want a really light edge over here. Because there is usually a lip on here. So we're going to make really light touch here. Just super light lip. So you see that lip right there? And I'm trying to imagine my head looking at one of these pots, what it would look like. This is my 2H. Let's see. I think this part here needs to come up just a little bit. We're celebrating Memorial Day savings. Fire up the grill and pick up Rayleigh's boneless tri-tip roast. Untrimmed. So let's fix that. For only $3.77 a pound. Plus our summer best red cherries from Costamagna Farms are just $3.99 a pound. A bowl of sweet cherries, a tender tri-tip, and more grilling essentials at a great value. Now that's a Memorial Day barbecue. Now that probably has lip also. So I'm going to use my 2H. And I am going to lightly put a thin line here. Thin line there. Well, what do you guys think? So let's blend this in just a little bit more. So it kind of comes inward. Same thing with this one. Gradually bring that in. Ta-da! Well, Knitaholic, you see that? What do you think? Did I give justice? Let's turn this way a little bit. I want this part right here to have like a darker shadow. So you can see that there's actually a lip here. Put that in. I'm going to darken this just a tad bit here. Ta-da! Woo! You still there, Knitaholic? Alright, so shall I make this a shadow also so we have a border on it, a white border? I can shadow that in. Okay, so you know what? With that one, I'll use the HB, but I'm going to use the HB on this pencil here, my Kimberly. And I am going to make a background to where this actually I keep turning it so it stays sharp. I'm not pressing hard. I'm just letting the weight of the pencil do its thing. So I'm going to darken this to where it has a border on it, a white border. I'm not going to chamois it or anything, or use a tortillon, but my dog's dreaming over here. This will bring out the pot a little bit, or it should. It's not going to be sitting on anything. I want to do my lines the same direction, and then I'm going to do it a different direction to where it fill in some of the white that shows through. Any suggestions for another drawing? Anybody? Something not too crazy that I can get done within like a half hour, 30 minutes or something. Any more suggestions? I'm going to bring this out a little bit. Give me another suggestion, Knitaholic. I darken this just a little bit more. And do one more layer on this. Try to do full strokes so it doesn't, you know, overlap on shadowing. Don't want a white border there. Do you have another suggestion? Knitaholic, did you lose yourself again? Did you lose my screen? Alright, I could do a lamp. They actually have a sample of several lamps in that book, and I found them online. So I'll show you guys a few samples and let me know which one. Anything to help anybody out, so. Alright, so now that I've done the shadow in the back, you can see the white right here. Now if you were up closer, you can actually see the lip that's on there. Yeah, you can't really see it with the camera. There it goes, slightly. So there's a lip here, and then there's a small tiny lip over here, but you just can't see it very well. I don't know if this was a very good drawing. Now, say if I were to put this on a table in a background, that might help. So let me do that. Let's make it on a table or something. So let's do this. Let's make it like it's on a table. So I'll make this edge darker, so it's like a background. Oh, really? A really long delay? Let me see. Where would I fix that? Would that be in my Streamlabs or would that be in my OBS? If it's in my OBS, I have to wait to change that. If it's in my Streamlabs, I might be able to fix that. Not sure. Might be my Streamlabs. I mean my OBS. Alright, I'll have to fix that. I'm not sure of a delay what I have on it. I haven't worked on it for so long. So with this background, you might be able to see the lip once I fix this. Oh, you have it on the TV screen? That's cool. No, I don't think that's what will cause the delay. I think I have a delay on here because I have to wait maybe 8 seconds or something because I have it set that way. So if somebody were to post something or say something, I can take it out before it shows you guys. Those are for people that come in and say things that are rude or whatever. I have a chance to have almost 8 seconds or so, or 7 seconds to actually delete them. It's important to have those delays. If you don't have a mod, it's important to have that so you're able to take it out right away. And I haven't really had a lot of problems yet, but who knows? You never know down the line what can happen. So you see how I put the dark back there and now the light just pops. I mean, it really pops. But it also makes it to where I need more dark right here to bring this in. And then here, same thing. Bring that in. Hey, Pandora listener, here's something that you can music to your ears. If you or someone you know has acne, proactive. This is what happens when you put a dark background. You have to adjust. So that brings that in. And then down here, the same thing. So I'll put a little bit of lip on there. Bring that back in. Like so, right? Same thing here. This is what happens when you bring a darker background in. It kind of kills the shadowing that you just did. So that means you have to adjust it and then it pops. You see the difference? And then the lighting, actually, it pops right here too. So say this might be too dark. Let's use my HB. So if I were to gradually put this line here, then you'll be able to see the white. Oh, I don't want to use that one. I need to make this super thin. Let's see if I can get this in here. Then you can see that lip right there. So maybe get this to pop a little bit more. This one the same way. Oh, see now you can see the edge right there. See it now? Now it pops it out. So that means down here I need to do the same thing. Let me get these back where they belong. This is my B. Whoa. Okay, so I need that to pop out. So let's use my F. This part here needs a pop. So you see that it's actually sitting on a table. There we go. Ta-da! Alright. Let me find my pencil. Alright, what else should I draw? That was really simple. Oh yeah, you said the lamp, right? Alright, so let's take this off. See how I gradually getting some paper on there. I can still use this one. Okay, this sort of went over slightly right here, so we're going to take that out. The tape must have came up right there. There we go. There we go. So we're going to do a lamp after this. These are just little small exercises to do. So tomorrow, hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll end up doing a few videos of drawings. I did a few lessons last week and the week before. No, actually, last week I didn't. I didn't stream. I wasn't feeling well. So you can see the lip right here and the lip up there. It's really, really light. So you see how that looks. Alright, so let's work on another one. So this is the one I did earlier. And then, see, I changed the lip on it. So I'm wondering which lip would look better. This one, the fatter lip, or the smaller lip. So it makes a big difference. You know? That looks kind of neat because you can actually put it in a frame and you'll still have a lip on it when you put it in the frame. This one, if you were, it's a no-go, but yeah. So, okay, so let's do a lamp. Bring this over here. Let's do another one. So what I did was I just fold this in half. Yeah, I sort of do too. So I fold this in half and then I set it on here. We're going to make it tall, so let's do that one yet. Let's do this one. So I fold it in half, and pretty much where that one ends up, that's where I put it. Same thing here. Fold it in half. Do the same thing here. Okay, so I'm going to do it tall ways. So we're going to do it this way. Let's put it a little bit closer. And let me see what I can find. Now in the book I have, let's see, from the book that I'm working from, I think I found one. Where's it at? Or did I forget to grab that one? I want to show people from the different examples that I have. Did I save it? No, I did not. Alright, give me a second. I am going to find it. Yeah, me too. I like it too. Spelled it wrong. What did I look up? Give me a second. Where's my book? There was a chapter in here that we're we're going to be coming up to. Well, here's a small one. Here's a small one that they did. Small sample of one. But I want something larger than that. And they have this one. So this is actually using the shapes. Okay, so maybe that's the title I need. Hold on, I forgot it already. Brought up the wrong horizon plane thing. I know it's in here. Where is that? I need to save it to my computer so I could set it there so you guys have it. Let me find it. Scan, 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 scan. So many different things to go through. Bear with me. Bear with me here. I know it's here. Oh man, it's already going to be 3 o'clock. I'm hungry. And I boiled some eggs yesterday and I forgot to put them in the fridge. I don't think they're any good anymore. The other thing I like to do, hold on, let me show you. There's a picture here I might be able to save. Let me save that. See if I do realistic portraits, and one of my things I want to do are figures eventually down the road. Wow, it's not here. Let's see, maybe if I open one of these, it might pop up. This one. That one. Ooh, that's a good one to save too. Let's save this one. Not that. Not that one. Where can you be? I might have to just set the book next to me, but there's a lamp that they have in the book. I may have to just use the book. I would just kind of like to have people see what I'm looking at. Let me see. No. Bear with me, please. Let me find it. Let me find it. So much to look at in here. Now I can't find it. It's not in here. I thought it would be. I would have saved it, I think. All right, let me just work from the book because I'm just trying to locate it and I just can't seem to find it. All right, so I'll just set the book next to me. Just bring that out a little bit. Let me grab the book. Oops. Didn't want to do that. All right, so let's just look at the book. Where's it at? This one. Here it is. So this is what I'm going to do. That one right there. It has the cylinder, the sphere, the square, and the cone. And that's what I'm trying to look for. Things like that. Those kind of pictures to work from. So you guys can learn how to do that. So let's do that. And all I have to do is just start with the basics. So I'm going to use my HB pencil. And again, I need to do this half thing because I need to center it. Otherwise it will be off. So let's center this. I'm not going to use the ruler to do it because that's not what I'm looking for. It needs to be freehand. So let's center that. Get a little bit closer here. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Let's smaller. There, that might work. Oh wait, I know where to put it. Right here. Ta-da! Perfect. 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 All right, let's do this. So the center of this lamp would probably be at the dial. So I'm going to bring the dial down probably about right here. And then we have a long, tall piece of light thing that comes up here. So let's bring this down. Probably about right here. So this lamp's going to look different, I guess. This has a small lip right here. And then a circular piece here. And it comes out. This is circular also, so it's somewhat circular. And then we're going to bring this down. Oh, that might be too close. So the kneaded eraser helps when you make it into a drop, sort of. So just flatten it a little bit and then make these round. The round part would be for the larger pieces, and then this piece will be for the smaller pieces. To just kind of clean off the graphite. Alright, so we're going to bring this down. And then this one also comes around. It needs to come out a little bit. Now part of this you won't even see, but I'm going to draw all the lines in here first. Okay. Then we have lamp shade. Let's bring it out, probably right here, right there. And then here comes out below that a little bit, right there. I'm going to bring the lampshade down. You see, I'm not using a ruler to do this. I just did this centerpiece here just so you can see that. Okay, so this is going to come up more here, like so. All right, and then this part. Ooh, I think I may have come down too low. Let me see. I think I came down too low on this because we want part of the lamp to show right here. So we're going to bring this up just by a little bit. I'm checking the distance here, the height of it. Okay, now we want these. There's a sphere right here, so we're going to draw the sphere in, which is a circle. It's probably about right here and right here. So let's bring that, come back around like so. Then we have, oh gosh, the sphere is off. I just looked at the center there. Okay, then we have a cylinder coming down, sort of like a cone here. And then we want to make that round. We might end up erasing that. That's a little too high. Bring that down. Okay, now we have a box. Now, we did a horizon part, but some of you may have not been here for that. So I'm just going to put a straight line this way. Then we come out this way. Straight line this way. It's supposed to be a straight line, but that does not look straight. I used my hand. That's a no-no. Not use your hand. Not use your hand. Okay, so okay, so now here we have to estimate where we want this to go. We're going to have it go this way. Okay, and then we're going to go up here. We're going to make this circular. We did this in one of the lessons. For the circle. So this is actually an oil lamp. Bring this out a little bit more. Okay, now the part that you guys don't see is this. I'm going to erase it. Even though I drew it, it's gone. It's a goner. So we're going to erase this part. We're not going to be able to see that. But that was the concept of what we needed to find. Erase these lines. We don't need those anymore. This actually needs to be bigger. So we're going to bring it out. And the reasoning is because it's sitting on, it has to be the same as the sphere right here. Otherwise it'd be off balance and it doesn't make sense for it to sit right. Okay, so then we're going to erase the center here. Erase that line. And we're going to erase part of that. Erase this line. And then we're going to set this on a table also, only because the reason why I do this, just so we can get some shadows in there. We can have some shadow going on. So we're just going to put a table sort of thing right here. So we're going to make that super light. We're going to use the let's see where this goes. And we're going to use the 2H first for the table. Let me put my thing back over here. Alright, let's do the table first. Now, if the light was glaring on this, because it's a lamp, we need to put the parts in here as if it were on. So these lines need to be lightened up. So let me lighten this up. Just a little bit. Now I'm going to make this stand a dark stand. So to do that, we're going to darken this piece here. Like so. Make the top part a little bit lighter. Then we are going to make like a shadow here. A make-believe cast shadow. Okay, now we're going to make a dark shadow back here. And remember, the light could be on, so we're going to do a shadow here that the light is shining a bit. Lighten that up a tiny bit there. I know I did it all dark, but this is a way to show you that you can still put that lighting in there. So I'm going to do that. Then darken this piece a little bit. Coming in a little bit. Okay, now we have the 2H. I'm gonna lighten this up a little bit. And in these things, there's like a wick in here. So we're gonna put a wick in here. We're gonna shadow this as if it's, you can see that it's sort of like glass. Same thing with this side. Oh, let me see what this is. Oh, Monday's Memorial Day already? Wow. All right. So to have this stand out a little bit, you need to make this part here just a little bit darker. We don't want like a definite line on here. So you want to use your shadowing to show that it's round. And the same thing here. This is like a metal piece right here. So we're just going to cross my lines there. And then this piece here holds onto the glass. So we're just going to shadow that just a tiny bit. Just round that off just a tiny bit. Okay, now we're going to do the lamp. Let's bring this in. All right. You still with me? Knitaholic. Okay, now we're going to shade the lamp shade just a little bit. You want to be able to see that it's circular. And it's just a plain lampshade, so all we want is just a little bit of shading on here. I think my music stopped again. My music stopped. It's gone. Alright. So, because of this lip thing here, it's hard to, there's a clip on my clipboard, so I need to figure out how I can do this side without upside down. That'll help. Okay, and then on the lip, and shade, I want it, let's bring it back this way. How do we want to do this? I need to find more music. Alright, so in here, it's going to be super light. That's light. And then in here is light. So that means right here, we're going to have like a little shadowing. Bring that down a little bit. Bring this down. Ooh, I think I went too high. Let me fix that. Ta-da. All right. What do you guys think? For not having a sample anywhere, I can probably darken this a little bit to make it go round a little bit. Right here. This one here too. All right. So there we go. There's your lamp. I need a different pencil to sign this. Four, 17. Oh. All right, so this is what we did today. We did that one. We did this one. And we did this one today. Let me bring this out so everybody can see it. So this is what I worked on today. Let me take this one out so you guys can see what it looks like. Put that up there. Well, thank you, Nick. Alec. Thank you so much. So I am going to go eat after this. I already have 3:30. I think my dinner's going to be super late, but I haven't had lunch yet. All right, so let's undo this one. So I need to go have lunch. It's a little late, but I get so into this, I forget that I have to eat. So this is what we did. So when I hold that up, you can see, put it a little bit closer, and see what I did. And I had nothing to look at to make these shadows, so I did the best I could. And then this one here, hold that up, you can see different shadows. And then this one, which was fairly simple thing. But all it does take practice to do these shapes here and the cone. The cone's missing from this one. That's what I have. Thank you for being here, Knitaholic. I really appreciate it. And then everybody else that have auto hosts on me, I really appreciate that. All right, so I am going to go eat, and then I may be back later. I'm not sure. It depends if family shows up or not. They come over sometimes. But if I come back, I'll continue doing just sample drawings just to get more practice in. It helps. Let me see if this saved those pictures I was looking for. Oh, I was going to show you before you leave. This is something else that I would like to practice. Let me get the image on here. Hold on. Let me get that in here. Where's it at? So because I do realistic stuff, this is something that I would like to do, and then draw something like this and then make it realistic. Oh, you're welcome. So I'd like to do something like this just to practice my hands. My hands are not girly hands, but I can use somebody else's hands for it. I took pictures of my grandkids' hands to do children's hands. On children, you don't have as much line, so less is more, and then more is less for adults. That's funny. All right, so let me take this one out because I'm not going to use this one yet. And then I have, let's see, I have these other ones that people have done already. It's another set of hands. Let's see. Gotta add another image here. Let's put H on it so I know which one it is. Okay, so then they have this one also where you just barely sketch it out, and then you make the fingers more realistic. You know, you've seen this one everywhere. So they have that one. So these are type of things I like to practice, and so I could practice my hands. I do portraits more so than anything. I just don't have a lot done. But if I keep it simple for everyone right now, for Thursdays, not this, this is not simple. So I won't do this on Thursdays. Um, this will help people understand and how to do things. So I want to keep it to the basics, what I've been doing. I have pictures of, let me take that out. Let me see if I can add a few more on here, just so you can see what I'm working on. Let's just put H on that again. It's not going to be the hands, but it's a sample of what we'll be working on. I will be doing this one again. I will be doing that one again. I will be doing let me find it. I will be working on something like this. Probably tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, so those are type of things that we'll be working on. Actually, let me see. I have it marked what chapter I need to record and put it on YouTube. Let me move these to the sides. All right, so I need to bring this out a little bit more, I guess. Oh, did I close that? Oh, I didn't. All right, let me bring this out more so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So bring this over. We're going to be, I need to record drawing cylindrical objects, and then we're going to be working on these. That's part of the one that's up here, that bottle. And then I have a picture of this that I'll put on here also, and I believe this one also. And then we need to draw the spherical objects, which is one of the planners that we did. So I want to do that tomorrow also, if possible. And then all of these are in there. So I will sketch these out really quick to show people how to do it. And then this is the next chapter, drawing conical objects with the cone. But I will read these for my recordings, and then I will go through and do them. We're going to keep this one for next week, not this week. Putting basic forms together, and that was part of what we did with the lamp today, of what I did. But if I do little samples like this, people can catch on and draw things. And once I get done up to 9, then I want to get into charcoal. That will be in this part here. There's some things in here I can't show. And then see, this is similar to what I just did. And then things like this to get texture will be good. I bought some 4H charcoal pencils, which will be great to work with. The other thing I would like to work with, and I do have some samples that I have also, is to work with paper bags. That's a good practice for everyone to do. And that will be in charcoal when I do the charcoal lessons. One of the other things that I do is this thing here. And I've actually done it. I have it. Is it this one? Here is part of the charcoal to do. And this is what it looks like here. So this is something else that we'll do. So it takes time weekly, and then I'll add the videos to my YouTube. So if you subscribe there on my YouTube, then you can see them there. Let me see. I probably should put a link for my YouTube here, huh? Let me see. I have to sign in. Hold on. So if you were to go to my YouTube, my channel, this is what I have so far. Let me paste here. If you go look that up, that's my YouTube. You know what? I want to go to the yarn store too. I need more of my yarn to do my tatting. I want to get more colors. I try every month to get a few different colors. That way I don't have the same colors all the time to work with. So I have to be careful what I show on here because some of these are not proper. But I want to do things like this with charcoal to show people on how to do it. It's not what I do, but I'll do it because it's good practice. And then things like this. There's inappropriate pictures in this book too, so I have to be careful what I show. I want to do, I don't do trees, but I will show you guys on how to do it. It's not one of my favorite things. And then things like this, and then to fill it in with charcoal. I want to get to that. It won't be this week. And then eventually, you know, the figure drawing that I was talking about, this book goes into that. And I would like to work with that also and help people with it. I need to practice myself. So now these things are okay to show because it's not inappropriate. It's a mannequin. And I actually have a mannequin that I can work with that I haven't used yet. So if I get this turned correctly, I don't know which side is the back side, which side is the front side, honestly. Okay, that's the back. This is the front. So I have this mannequin to work with. I haven't used it yet, but it would be good to work with it. So, and I could turn it any direction really to practice. The old West Go Town. Remember the westerns they used to have all the time with the Duke and, you know, other people in there? Things like that. That'd be cool, huh? Ghost Town. Okay, so this really gets in depth. And I did cover some of these things on here of what I want to do. You know, I want to do figure drawing too, not just portraits. So I did cover some things on here. You see, I covered, thank goodness. And then it goes into the feet, which will be good to learn. And then the hands. So that's something that I will be working on, and it's further on in this book. So I will do those videos eventually, and then people can go back and learn them. And then they have the eyes, the mouth, the nose, the ears, and then portraits. And that's my spot there. I love portraits. So we'll be working, and I work on more realistic than this. Mine's more realistic. And I really take my time doing it. And then they have the children on how to do them also, which I'll be eventually working on my grandchildren too. So then they have wash media techniques. Well, the only wash techniques that I know more or less are like watercolors. But this does the ink. I can do the ink wash where you use the black ink. So I did various medias. So That will be neat. So they have this to gradually fill in the lighter parts, and then you fill in the darker parts, because as you go darker, you can't lift the dark when you work with ink. Then the same thing with the shell, and it's a still life wash. So that would be with ink also. Let me see what else is in here. So that would be cool to work with. And they have the still life in here also. So that's with everyday stuff that we usually see. Lettuce, tomatoes, and they show you how to do that. And I'll work with that too eventually. They have acrylic techniques. I'm still learning acrylics, so I'm not going to go into that. Here's some more ink and fixed medias that's in the book that I will be going through eventually. So it does take time, and I only do this once a week, so there's a lot to go through on this. And then they have more for the drawing children in various media. They have this, and then the children's head and their hair on how to do that. We could do this in ink, the black ink that I'm talking about, and then gradually go darker and darker, and you could fill in here. And the same thing here. It's a light wash, and then you make the darker, and then you gradually add to make the hair. People have trouble doing hair, so that might be something to get into also. So that's my plan. But that's going to take months, apparently, since I only do this once a week. So I've been trying to, during the week, I tried to do like little sketches like I've been showing you, just to help people out a little bit. But after surgery, my hand will be better, hopefully, and I'll be able to work on my regular drawings. But for right now, just practicing is good for myself and for everyone else. So I'm going to go eat. I want to thank everyone for being here, all the auto hosts that I've had, Knitaholic, Knit Happens, Draw with Kitties, Only Pencil, Barack, and a few others that popped in here, and then Knitaholic. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. So I'm going to take these out because I don't need these here anymore for now. I'll bring them back when I need them. Okay, so there we go. I will catch you guys later. Thank you so much for being here at Knitaholic. I'll probably be back later on this evening, not sure. If I do, I may be playing video games too. I don't know. I'm going to go eat first and then go from there. I'll chat with you later. Thank you.